Hello everyone. So today let me share one very common problem that we all face when we are trying to use computers. I guess it's not really about using computers. It's more about how to save 2 seconds when it comes to tracking something, when it comes to taking some quick note. Now, of course, we use org mode, or at least I use org mode, and I'm hoping that if you're watching this video, you will also start using org mode. If you're not already, then you should take a look at it. Now, the thing is that using org mode, of course, you can do a lot of wonderful things, and in org mode, there is a concept of org capture. So whenever you have your Emacs open, you can do something like, let me show you. So this is my Emacs, and if I press Control C and C, it will actually give me the option to select a template, and then I can capture something very quickly, right? It could be a to-do item, it could be something that I want to get reminded from, or it could be my journal, or I can just ignore it. So this is fine. When I'm of course within my Emacs, I can capture something like a quick snippet or a code or something that I want to remember. But it's more I use org capture mostly for capturing, or for example, if I'm doing something like, let us say I'm looking at some shell script, basically I'm modifying, or maybe I'm modifying this sxhkd file where I'm doing something, but I remember, okay, I need to also do something else. So I can quickly, create a new to-do item without going to my main file where I keep my to-do items. And then, I can later on refile it. This is fine. But there are cases where you don't really want to capture notes. You just want to create like some document. It could be, let us say you're talking to someone, you're on a call, and you quickly need to open a file and save it somewhere, right? Now, on people who use Windows, they basically press Window R and they type in Notepad, and they quickly note down something and they save it. But on Linux, of course, you have something similar. You can always use variety of other tools. And if you are using Emacs, and if you can still do it, by the way, because in Emacs there is a concept of this buffer. So so the moment you press Control X B, you can actually write something here like test, right? And it will let you do something. So basically, the whole idea here is that you are creating a new buffer without any mode. You can always customize it, but right now there is no mode. So if I want to, maybe, because it won't really do anything, it is just a normal document, but I can change the mode to org mode, and this will basically now behave like any org mode, the way org mode should behave. But this is a bit too cumbersome, and I still do it. I'm not really saying I don't do it. I do it, but it is much more planned, because if I have to create a new org file, I don't really mind doing it by creating a new buffer, or just doing Control X, Control F in the directory and then creating a file. But in those cases where you want to do it on the fly, you like creating a new buffer and then not doing so many button presses, you can also do it very easily by using Emacs client or just Emacs. Now I use Emacs client because it will then connect to my Emacs server, which is always running. Not always, but I run it whenever I start my computer. So you can do something like this, like Emacs client and -c. And then if you want, you can simply type here test.org, and this will of course create a new buffer with, of course, the proper org template. So essentially this is what I do, but there are a few improvements that I want to also do, because I don't really want my terminal window to stay on the when I run this Emacs client. So I can simply do something like disown it, and then I can also, so if you do disown exit, you are basically ensuring that you are creating a buffer, and then you are okay. So basically, it will create a buffer for you, but at the same time, it will also make sure that there is no additional. So the terminal window will not stay. Now let me do it one more time, And this time I'll not really create a test.org, but I may want to create test1. And this will of course create a new empty buffer for you with the file or the buffer name. And then you can press Ctrl X, Ctrl S to save it if you want, which of course you want to save. But ideally you want to create this file name automatically. And if you are, so there is something called as this command. There is a date command, right? So if you are using something like this, it will actually create a date for you. But I don't really want my date to be created with these spaces. I want to have proper hyphens, and I want to have it with the year first, followed by, and by the way, this is something that you can, just do a quick Google search on these things. Then I want my month, then I also want my date, and this is enough to be honest, but I also want the hour, and then the minute, and also the second. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm reformatting the date, and I will then use this in my command. So if I go to my Emacs client -c, and I want to also make sure that whenever I do this, I have this note appended, and then the actual file name org, because if the extension, if it is org.org, then Emacs will use org mode, and I will also disown it so that I'll directly open this. And now we have this wonderful file which I can create wonderful buffer with org mode. Now, good thing about this is that because it's nothing but a simple command, you can also execute it using a shortcut using sxhkd. And let me just show you. So what I have done here is in my sxhkd, I have this basically the same command, but I'm executing it. I'm triggering it using super n, and that is it. That is it. So wherever you are in your, let me just open one browser window. For example, you are doing some browsing and you remember, okay, I need to take some notes. So you can press super n and then okay. And this is your, of course, your notes, right? And of course, this is nothing but a proper org file. Super useful, right? And that is it. That is it. So I hope you found this video useful and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.